Then I moved over to reading. I have a love of reading. And to me, I still find it terrible how kids don't like to read. I just don't understand it, I just don't understand it. I'm like, this is such a great escape from the craziness of the world. And I guess because most students feel that they have to read what is told in school, and when I taught reading, and I taught reading for 18 years, I always gave them an option.
Welcome to the Locala podcast, everybody. I'm Lisa Anderson, your host and publisher of Locala magazine, and we are doing the June 2023 issue, which is the beginning of our third year already at Locala magazine, and so we're calling back some of our favorite stories. And today on the couch, we have Annette Garcia, and boy, has her story changed quite a bit since we first had her in the magazine in September of 2021. So welcome to the show.
Good morning, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's just dive right in because a lot has changed for you since last we talked.
Yes, it has. It really has.
Yeah, because you were at Forest High School.
I was at Forest High School. I've been with Forest High School for about 8 years, and I took a leap of faith. I was looking for a nonprofit, something just to reach the kids a little bit more than what I'm usually used to. And I found a company called Acceleration Academies. They're all over. My idea was, my daughter was graduating at that time, which was my second one. I would be an empty nester. I'm going to move to Tampa because they have locations all over the place. I was figuring I'll go to the Sarasota office and eventually transfer over to the Tampa office. But the hurricane came and the whole bit, and it just, real estate is crazy in the first place, but it really was outrageous. So I applied. I found out that they were going to be here in Marion County, and I applied, and the wait was a while, and I was very nervous. I was sure I was going to get it, and then I thankfully they got back to me, and I started in July. I believe it was July 1st of this year. It is what I used to do 2.0.
Okay.
So it's what Marion County would count as a drop back program.
Okay.
So drop back in program. So we have students who have come back who didn't want to go to traditional school because of COVID or because of bullying issues or because they want to be accelerated. They don't want to wait till their graduation year and go faster and go ahead and graduate in time. It is a full high school diploma. Okay. And I was hired as a content coach. And why I love it is because I get to see all aspects of the kids. I don't get to only just I used to do intensive reading, and it was just intensive reading and they were gone. Yeah. I get to follow them from the moment they walk in all the way to the time they graduate.
Oh, how fun. And now you kind of, in a way, kind of taught when you were at Forest with Rhonda,
which Williams, right? So I did 11th grade and she did 12th grade.
Okay, all right. So now are you still kind of doing that type of method, or is it mostly by yourself now?
Well, there's a content coach for each subject. Okay. So we have English, we have math, we have science. What I do is I do the exceptional education, so I get to hit all the kids. And so they come through, and as they're taking their classes with the other teachers, they'll come to me and they'll ask for extra help. I help them testing. I help them with whatever their needs are. Yeah. So I also do, of course, the SAT, prep them for graduation because they have the same requirements. We don't have FSA. We do take FSA, though. So all the state requirements are the same, but there's not like an intensive reading class. It's not that way. Our students take one class a day. One class at a time rather than 7 classes.
Oh, how nice.
However, it's an acceleration program. That's in our name in 3 weeks. That's the norm. Like within 3 weeks, finish a class, then we move on to the next one.
Okay. That kind of reminds me a lot of when I did my bachelor's degree at Full Sail, because I did a bachelor's degree in 2.5 years versus 4 years. Right. So that was that acceleration where it was basically one class a month, and then you moved on to
so
the
if
next
the student's
one.
very motivated, they can go ahead and move on very quickly.
Okay. So it's really like self-paced and everything.
Yeah, it's self-paced. So they get to what they have to do is they have to do 12 hours on site and 12 hours off site. So when I say on site, so let's say you work at Walmart and you work Mondays and Wednesdays, and you can come Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays.
Okay.
So you set your schedule. We have some kids who come in 2 hours a day every day.
Wow.
We have kids that go in 8 hours for they come in for the whole day, and then they're off for the rest of the week. We have a lot of kids who do Tuesday through Thursday because they like to have the weekends off.
Sure.
But we're very flexible, and they come and they go, and it's not like you have to be here, you have to do, it's not that type.
Yeah. So, okay. So what has that done for your stress level?
Well, for my stress level, it's great because I don't have a so-called supervisor. I mean, of course, I have a director and stuff, but he lets us work with the kids the way we find it's best for them.
Okay.
So every student is an individual, just like in a regular school, but I get to tailor it. Okay, well, you don't understand how to do this math problem. I'll turn around and, switch it over. Well, let's use this. Or we use real life scenarios rather than feeling confined. I only have 45 minutes to do. Let's hurry up. So I could be with them for 10 minutes or I can be with them for 2 hours.
Okay.
Whatever works best.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah. So, okay. So that's kind of a big shift. It
was a big shift.
Yeah. So what year was that you...
I just moved. So I will be there 1 year this July.
Okay. Yeah. So you worked a little bit during then. It was right after the pandemic that we talked. Yeah. So how did that shift for you that last year? What was the biggest catalyst for you saying, hey, I need to make a shift in what I'm doing?
Well, the whole pandemic thing, the kids were supposed to be working online and, interacting with teachers and stuff. And for my subject, because I taught intensive reading, a lot of kids didn't. There's no curriculum.
Sure.
So they wouldn't engage in a lot of the stuff. So when they come back, it really wasn't fair to them that they come back and they were put into taking FSA and their ELA classes or their SAT or ACT because they were out of school for such a long time and they didn't read on a normal basis. And just a summer vacation, they don't read.
Yeah.
So to have them reading something that's intense on grade level with vocabulary and trying and with time constraints. They came back very, very low. It was very, very frustrating. And then you got, a lot of the kids who, unfortunately, they use the pandemic as an excuse. Mm-hmm. I still have COVID. Or I'm out for 2 more weeks. Whenever a test came, everyone had COVID. Okay. That kind of thing. And then you had ones, I was in a classroom where you're cleaning constantly because we were coming straight out of it. And you have kids, I don't want to wear a mask. You have these battles and things. It was challenging, to say the least.
Yeah. Kind of that final step of I need to do something a little bit better.
A little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit different. So what else have you been up to in your life?
Well, my girls, I have 2 of my girls. My oldest graduated from FSU. Go Knowles.
Oh, my goodness.
She graduated from FSU. So she was home for a little bit trying to figure out what she was going to do. And she finally took a job with, are you ready? The University of North Dakota.
Oh, burr.
Yeah. North Dakota.
Oh, my goodness.
The day she arrived was negative 25 degrees.
Yeah.
So, and the second week, I believe she got frostbite.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So frost nip. It wasn't bite.
Okay.
So in her hands, that was stressful. She wanted to try something new.
Yeah. That's definitely,
that's definitely new.
Yeah.
And my youngest graduated as well. And she graduated from Forest High School. She's at University of, she's at UF.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a Gator. She loves it. She's always been a very academically, challenged. She loves the challenge of academics.
Sure.
And she's very aware of where she stands. So she tries really, really hard.
Yeah.
And she does very, very well. She got full bright futures. But a little tidbit on her, I don't know where she gets it from. It must be from me. When she was at Forest, she liked to take pictures for school, the activities, and she was very involved in everything. During the summer right before she went in, she wanted to do some kind of, photographs for UF. It's a very hard program to get into. Mm-hmm. But she went and she emailed every single person in the media department. Every person said, this is who I am. This is what I do. Here's a little clip of what I do.
Oh, wow.
And she got an answer back, and now she works for Gator Vision. She does it.
Fantastic. fantastic.
She takes pictures for all the football games, and she is just excelling.
Oh, that's amazing. So is her degree going to be in media or?
No, she wants to be a lawyer.
Oh,
yeah, she wants to be a lawyer, but this is just something else she does, and she just loves it. I mean, she's so good at it.
Oh,
she's
that's
so
amazing. What a nice creative outlet, especially in that contrast of studying to become an attorney.
It's interesting,
What have you personally been up to now? Now you're kind of an empty nester.
I am an empty nester. So I spend most of my time, because this is just a brand new school here in Marion County. At the very beginning, I was spending a lot of time at work, just trying to get things right. I'm also in a kind of a new position, so I had to learn a lot of things on my own. I also have a great support system within Marion County that they help me out. I have a lot of friends, I'm lucky, that have done sort of this type of work, so they've been helping me out with that. But I got a dog I have a dog now over the COVID time, and I love him, and he's a lot of work. He's a little bit, a challenge himself. So I spend a lot more time outside, and I've just learned to I guess the pandemic, I lost a lot of friends, and a lot of my friends lost family members, and it makes you think, time is, just there's just a little bit of time for everything. So I'm trying to put myself first. I try to spend the weekends out with friends. I'm not I don't like to celebrate my birthday, but I did a whole big birthday thing this year. I went out. I went to Savannah with my daughter, but it's not something I would usually do. I'm always about everybody else, and I'm taking some time for myself now.
Good for you. Yeah. Oh, how fabulous. And I've seen you out at some events and stuff like that, and they're kind of self-care events in a way too, kind of reminding you, hey, you're important.
Yeah. Laura LePan, she's a very good friend of mine, and she's got me out there and tried to see other things that I've just been ignoring.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful to get out there and see new things.
Yeah. Well, I remember one of the things that we talked about a lot when you and Rhonda were talking for your first interview was having people come and talk to the students about their jobs, their positions, not necessarily needing to go to college to be able to work and doing different aspects, almost like TEDx for younger kids. So now that you're seeing stuff in a different light, in a different learning environment, are you feeling that quite as necessary for the students?
Oh, absolutely. We actually have been having people come into school to our academy and talk to the kids. We just had a barber there, and he was absolutely. I have a student who I had in mind when the barber was coming, and he said he wanted to be a barber, and sometimes these kids don't think it's realistic.
Yeah.
So he happened to walk in when the barber was there, and he let the kids cut his hair. He had a student, so he let the kids, you want to do this, and he got up and he, cut the young man's hair, and he was just, he was just beaming, and he actually, I think for the first time realized I can do this. If I finish this degree, I can really do this. And I took a video of it. I sent it to his mom, and his mom was crying. He bought himself a pair of clippers, and actually the barber gave him information to go ahead and contact him because he can bring him on as an apprentice.
Oh, how fantastic!
So we've had that come in. We're thinking about we have a lot of kids are interested in tattooing.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. I bought some of my girls to see your TED Talk, to TED Talk.
Yeah.
And they absolutely love that, So, because it's important for kids to know that you don't have to go to college.
Yeah.
Not that we don't push to go to college. We love everyone to go to college, but there's other ways to make money besides, college.
That's amazing. How much fun is that to just be there, just really wishing you could do something like that, and to actually finally being able to come back and say, hey, I'm in a place that I actually get to do that for the kids.
And to see the girls, I have a student who's starting to tattoo.
Oh, cool.
And so she's great. It's funny because she was a student of mine at Forest, and now she's just blossomed. She looks up, you see her face, she talks to the other students, and she started to, she hooked up with someone who has a tattoo place. So she's working as an apprentice type of thing because she's not licensed. Obviously, she can't do it on her own. But she has been doing some little bits on herself and her friends.
Oh, cool.
And her work is just amazing.
Oh, that's so neat. How much fun. And that's not something typical that you would see them
Right.
doing at a high school.
I don't think
regular
they
high school.
push, hey, be a tattoo
Right,
artist.
right. But the options, like
Right.
actually presenting all of the options for everybody. That's wonderful, because I think, I'm not a mom, but I've always thought that there should be at least, in regular high school, that option to do like junior, senior year where you're actually learning a trade of some kind,
Right.
to be able to make money before you head off into.
Yeah, I think it's important for the kids to have it because it's part of life. Because so many kids go to college and then they just fail because they don't know what they're doing. Because moms always pay the bills. And I could even say that for my own kids.
Yeah.
I've always paid the bills. I've made sure everything is done, And now they've gotten into the space where they do their own. They have to pay the rent. They have to pay. So they have to figure it out. And it wasn't like a shock because they knew it was coming. But I think it's a disservice to a lot of kids that they don't have that beforehand.
Yeah, I agree. And, my parents were really good too, but I didn't know what I wanted right after school. And I didn't, I had done a little bit of a trade. So I was a CNA. I did night classes my senior year. And, but I went right into college, had no idea what I wanted, wound up dropping out a year and a half later and didn't go back until I was 30,
right.
And
That's okay.
And And, it took me that long to really figure out. And in the meantime, I did another trade. I did massage therapy and, and so I always feel like teach them something where they can actually earn money while they figure out who they are as an adult and what they want to do,
Yeah, that's very important for them, Yeah,
absolutely. So I do want to kind of step back a little bit and remind people that maybe don't want to go back and read the other article.
It's a wonderful article.
Yes, it is. And sometimes we do get a little lazy on the reading back. But can you remind us a little bit of your roots and where you came from?
So I am born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I don't know. My students say I have an accent. I think I've lost it, but they say no. I moved here to Florida back in 2005 with my two girls. They were very young at the time. Then I just needed something to do. So I started to sub, or I thought I was going to sub in the schools. And I was actually at Fort King Middle School, and they went ahead and put me in a classroom to start, teaching, which was terrifying. I met a wonderful, wonderful science teacher, Gary Schottner, who has retired now, but he taught me the ropes.
Okay.
He told me when I was doing something wrong. He told me when I was doing something, and I fell in love with teaching.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and got my teaching certificate, and I started teaching. And I love autistic children. I love ESC. I love all of that stuff. So that's where was my concentration.
Yeah.
And then I moved over to reading. I have a love of reading, and to me, I still find it terrible how kids don't like to read. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. I'm like, this is such a great escape from the craziness of the world. And I guess because most students feel that they have to read what is told in school, and when I taught reading, and I taught reading for 18 years, I always gave them an option. So my boys who hated to read in high school, I'm like, get Sports Illustrated.
There you go.
Besides the pictures,
read
the words, because that's actually pretty, the vocabulary is pretty high. So they would read that. I would get books that were, based on football, and my girls, and, just things that they really wanted to read about, things that they, that would, help them escape a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was that. And then I got into wanting to make a difference. And when I started doing intensive reading in high school, when the kids were just trying to graduate, and then just to see, some of them just wanted to graduate so they can help their family full time.
Yeah.
Some wanted to go to, college, and they had these big dreams, and then of course you have kids who, I'm going to be an NFL player, and I'm going to be, and whatever it was, do it, try it.
Yeah,
I actually have a student who I taught for a very long time. And, he's come back to me. He actually plays now for, if I get this wrong, he'll kill me. He is a professional. I'll just say his name because that way it makes it easier. Tyree Gillespie. And he's playing, I believe, he's still playing for the Jaguars.
Okay.
And one of his things was I actually had him come back right before I left Forest High School, come to school and talk to the boys because he was in an intensive reading class.
Yeah.
And that's a class that most kids say, you're dumb. And you're not dumb.
No.
It's just you got to find your way. And he he made his way. I mean, he's in NFL. He's in the NFL, and the kids were just thrilled to see him. And, he said, I always, one thing that I learned in Miss Garcia's class, and not to pat my own back, he said, she taught me to always remember to read a contract.
Yeah.
And I do remember when I told him that, I said, you can make all the money in the world. Yeah. People will take it from you. If you don't know how to read, you're just signing. And if you just sign without reading, you can get yourself in trouble. He says, and I read every contract that is put in front of me. So I think that was like a life lesson. I was like, well, I touched someone.
That's
I made
amazing.
A difference.
Yeah. So. What a great way to get to somebody too that is just focused on something like that, sports and doing. Hey, you need this because it's a life skill. Right. That's what a fantastic way to do that.
He's my pride and joy.
Yeah. Well, and I see that too where. I was a CB student most of my time, and I think my senior year I got a bunch of A's because I took every easy course I possibly could,
right?
Just to graduate. But my sister was a straight A student from the get-go, and my parents would always tease me, be like, well, let's look at Lisa's card. It's a little more interesting, my report card.
Right.
But when you find something that you love, you can excel so much better.
Right.
Because that's when I did massage therapy, I was really interested in it, and I got really great marks when I was in massage therapy. When I went back to school for something that I actually wanted to do and loved,
right, exactly.
I became valedictorian, which was, my parents were just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I know. Because it's something that you love, and which is difficult to do in high school because obviously you have a curriculum that they have to do. So I love that you...
And I tell my students, when you graduate, it doesn't say Lisa Anderson 4.0.
Right. It doesn't.
Lisa Anderson.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, I know grades matter. I shouldn't say that as a teacher. Grades do matter, but you just got to get there. You just got to get there. Once you have that certificate, then the world's open to you.
Yes.
The same in college. You don't have to stress them. Of course, the higher your grades, you get better. You get better opportunities, but the bottom line is it's going to say college graduate.
Right.
And that's what you need.
Yeah. Most applications don't ask, were you valedictorian? Right. Yes, you can put that under extra whatever if you wanted to, but that's
prom king.
Yeah. They're just looking at, does your degree match what we're trying to hire?
Right.
And we'll figure out if you're going to excel at it when we do the interview.
Right.
That's basically all it is. It's meeting those check marks so you can actually have those doors open to you.
And I tell my kids, what's the worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
Try.
Try.
Try. You never
try
know.
again. Yeah.
Try again. Okay, so you failed the ACT this time. Go back. Try it again. Now you know what's coming to you.
Yes.
And try again.
Yes, exactly. Well, we are almost to the end of our time already. Oh my goodness.
It's so easy.
I know. So I usually ask everybody if there's something else that you wanted to talk about that I did not ask you.
Well, I don't think so. I think we covered pretty much everything. Our school is something that I really think that people should look into if they're not into the traditional school.
Yeah.
We are making changes. We really are. We're growing really fast. We're up to almost 200 and I want to say 80 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So how would they find out information on that?
Well, we're online. Of course, we're Acceleration Academies, and we're all over the place. So it doesn't necessarily have to be here. If you want to, we have a bunch we have one in Miami. We have one in Sarasota. There's some in Georgia. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's a great place to be different and be accepted.
Yeah.
So.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much,
Thank you,
Annette.
Lisa. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us here on the Locala podcast. Once again, I'm Lisa Anderson, your host. If you would like to read the original story that we sat down with in our September 2021 issue, we'll go ahead and have that linked in the description. We'll go ahead and link to the Academy as well. And we hope that you join us here on the next podcast where we focus on connections through stories.
When you're younger and you have to write a paper on your hero, or people are like, who do you admire? My whole young adult life, I could never ever think of a person. I was like, I don't know. And a part of it was independence. This is it's me. I'm the best. Yeah. I don't know. As I got older and got more in touch with my own personality, I realized the people that are the coolest